I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal renewed the call from progressive Democrats to lift Title 42 on Thursday. She called the Trump-era policy, quote, cruel, racist, and counterproductive. GOP lawmakers have countered that if the policy is repealed, migration and drug trafficking could increase. Here's more from the Washington Democrat.
All right, well, we'll just get started and hopefully our colleagues will be here momentarily. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I am very proud to be joined today by my colleagues, Congress members Garcia, Escobar, Schakowsky, and I believe Presley will be joining us as well, who are all fearless advocates and champions for a humane and just immigration system. And today, we are here together to reinforce our complete support. The application of Title 42 by the Trump administration was a cruel, racist, and counterproductive use of health policy to circumvent existing immigration law. It has harmed millions of people who are escaping war and poverty and famine. Title 42 should never have been put in place. The language of Title 42 is quite clear in its wording. It focuses on the danger of introduction of a communicable disease into the United States, but in fact, by the time Title 42 was put in place, COVID was already here, infecting, hospitalizing, and killing our people because the administration at that time, the Trump administration, was still fighting testing and mask mandates and social distancing, real public health measures in America that would have done far more to prevent the spread of the virus than the implementation of Title 42. Notably, Title 42 was not pushed by public health experts. In fact, public health experts wrote a long letter, dozens of them, saying that Title 42 should not have been put in place. It was rather instigated by Stephen Miller, Trump's chief anti-immigrant architect, who was hell-bent on eliminating all legal pathways into the United States. So the dubious public health rationale for Title 42 became an overt national immigration and border security strategy that essentially overturned current immigration law and takes away the legal rights enshrined in domestic and international law that migrants have to seek safety and asylum here in the United States. And during this time of great global crisis, I have to point out that Title 42 isn't just xenophobic, it's also hypocritical. We are all rightly concerned with providing safety to the tragic flow of refugees coming from Russia's illegal war on Ukraine. But let us be clear about the racism that exists when it comes to Black and brown people seeking asylum at our borders. Title 42 has disproportionately affected Black and brown people, and we must stop discriminating against people based on where they are coming from. We should be equally concerned with responding to migrants' need for safety and security. Laws in America is not Title 42. It is to pass humane and just immigration reforms that prioritize legal pathways for people to escape war, to be reunited with their families, and to seek a better life. And shame on anyone, Republican or, frankly, Democrat, who uses or buys into the use of immigrants as a political football at the same time that they, as do all of us, benefit from the labor and the contributions of undocumented and documented immigrants, of asylees, refugees, and others who have made this country home. I am a proud immigrant and one of only 24 naturalized citizens to serve in Congress. And my path to naturalization took me 17 years to citizenship. And before coming to Congress, I spent 2 decades as an immigrant rights activist. So I know firsthand how broken our so-called system is. People can't get in line because there simply isn't one. And I remind you again that the right to seek asylum at our borders is a legal right enshrined in international treaties that the United States is party to and in our own domestic law. Yes. So I urge all of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle not to be afraid to lean into that, to clearly counter and contrast Democrats from the Republican xenophobia with our own embrace of the contributions and resilience of immigrants from all over the world and the continued fight for a fair and humane immigration system. That is who we are. Title 42 is a policy failure, plain and simple. It does nothing to prevent COVID from being spread, and by circumventing immigration law, it actually goes against the principles on which our country was founded. So ending it was the right decision. It was the only decision, and that is why today the Congressional Progressive Caucus will release a statement echoing that of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus that we will not support any legislative attempts to reinstate Title 42. And with that, let me turn it over now to a great colleague,